abstention.
A US abstention that allowed passage of the draft, and a sense of relief as diplomats in the room broke out in spontaneous applause. An initiative of the elected 10 members of the Council, who are this month led by Mozambique.
The situation in Gaza is a matter of grave concern to the entire international community. Indeed, the escalation of the conflict in the Gaza Strip and its catastrophic consequences are a clear threat to international peace and security. In this context, the E10 felt compelled to table this draft resolution before you. The 15 members of this Council, individually and collectively, have a mandate under the Charter to work for the maintenance of international peace and security, and their actions impact the entire international community.
China and Russia vetoed a US draft last week that determined the imperative of an immediate ceasefire in Gaza through supporting diplomatic efforts in the region on a new hostage for ceasefire deal, with Moscow and Beijing arguing it didn't go far enough. But growing discontent between the United States and Israel over its military conduct, coupled with growing international discontent with the civilian toll and suffering in Gaza, saw Washington's envoy abstain in Monday's vote, signaling that diplomatic efforts on a new hostage deal were close to a breakthrough, but just not quite there yet.
We're getting closer to a deal for an immediate ceasefire with the release of all hostages, but we're not there yet. Now let's be clear. A ceasefire could have come about months ago if Hamas had been willing to release hostages, months ago. Instead, Hamas continues to stand in the way of peace, to throw up roadblocks, cower in tunnels beneath Gaza cities and behind under civilian infrastructure and hide among the civilian population. So today my ask to members of this council and to member states in every region of the world is this: speak out and demand unequivocally that Hamas accepts the deal on the table.
Defend the Secretary General and the UN.
An emotional Palestinian ambassador expressed his appreciation to the E10.
This must be a turning point. This must lead to saving lives on the ground. This must signal the end of this assault of atrocities against our people. A nation is being murdered. A nation is being dispossessed. A nation is being displaced for decades now, but never at this scale since the Nakba. Never this openly, from Tantura to Gaza, from 1948 to 2024, we have endured. We have survived. We have resurrected, only to face death once again. Life must prevail in Gaza. Must prevail in Gaza. Freedom must prevail in Palestine.
Reacting to the passage of the resolution, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu immediately cancelled a planned visit of an Israeli delegation to Washington this week after the US refrained from using its veto to block the text.
Your demand for a ceasefire, without conditioning it on the release of the hostages, not only is not helpful, but it undermines the efforts to secure their release. It is harmful to these efforts. It gives the Hamas terrorists the hope to get a ceasefire without releasing the hostages. All members of the Council, all members, should have voted against this shameful resolution.
South Africa's chief diplomat, currently in Chicago, welcomed the adoption.
I think this is a welcome resolution, and now the ball is in the court
of the Security Council because they'll be tested as to their ability to ensure adherence to the resolution. But on having agreed a resolution, having tabled it and passed by the majority of the members, this is certainly an encouraging step.
In this social media post, the UN Secretary-General called for the resolution to be implemented, warning that failure to do so would be unforgivable. Sherwin Bryce-Pease, SABC News, New York.